The world is full of people who look modest but are really wealthy, and also those who look rich but are almost bankrupt. Do you want to be rich or wealthy? By the way, there is a difference between the two. One book explains this difference. By that, I didn't mean the dictionary. Hey everyone, welcome back to BooksDotCom Litgyan with me Subhashini, and by now you would have guessed the book which has garnered much attention in recent times. Yes, The Psychology of Money. In this digestible book, from a two-time winner of the Best in Business Award from the Society of American Business Editors and Writers, lies the secret. Morgan Housel's book covers a lot of ground in just over 200 pages. This is the book for you if you're looking for ways to be wealthy and not rich. The Psychology of Money is a study of how our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors influence our financial decisions, often leading to irrational choices driven by cognitive biases, personal experiences, and social influences rather than purely logical reasoning. Doing well with money isn't necessarily about what you know. It's about how you behave. And behavior is hard to teach, even to really smart people. This book highlights the importance of noticing the difference between being rich and being wealthy. People who are rich often make risky decisions based on historical data. But people who are wealthy realize that protecting their money by avoiding mistakes is the key to success. Our current relationships with money are based on our past experiences. Housel uses the example of people who struggled during the Great Recession that started in 2007 and are now scared of reinvesting. We shouldn't judge others for their financial decisions. We have all simply had different experiences of investing. The world is always changing. Relying on your experiences means you're basing your decisions on knowledge of a different world. Then, how to manage money, invest it, and make business decisions? Money investing, personal finance, and business decisions, all these involve a lot of mathematical calculations, where data and formulae tell us exactly what to do. In that case, people like me who have math phobia can never think of being wealthy. But if you notice, in real world, people don't make financial decisions on a spreadsheet. They make them at the dinner table or in the meeting room where personal history, unique view of the world, ego, pride, marketing, and odd incentives are scrambled together. We must learn to make investment decisions based on our goals and investment options rather than experiences. Effective investing is less about making sound decisions and more about consistently not making mistakes. Financial success can be summarized by one word: survival. The most financially successful are those who have been able to stick around for a long time. You can only grow your wealth if you have given an asset time to compound. Getting money requires risk-taking, optimism, and putting yourself out there. But keeping money requires the opposite: playing safe, being fearful, and a lot of inaction and humility. Try to make yourself financially unbreakable rather than focusing on big returns. Humility is also about planning with the expectation that things won't go according to plan. This is your margin of safety and is one of the most underappreciated forces in finance. Here are a few ways for you to start establishing a margin of safety. Frugal budget. When your income increases, still try to live below your means. Maintain a frugal budget. Don't spend more just because now you have more money. Flexible thinking. Be willing to accept new information and ideas about investing as technology and have flexible thinking. Loose timeline. Avoid ditching investments impulsively if they drop in price. If you start with a loose timeline, you are better able to ride the downswings and benefit from the upswings. The chapter explaining why money should be saved without any specific goal gave me words for thoughts I never could articulate otherwise. Money has to be saved not because one aims to buy a house or achieve a dream, but rather it helps to buy one of the most valuable of all things: time. Compared to generations prior, control over your time has diminished. And since controlling your time is such a key happiness influencer, we shouldn't be surprised that people don't feel much happier even though we are on average richer than ever. More than your salary, more than the size of your house, more than the prestige of your job, control over doing what you want, when you want to, with whom you want to, and for how long is the broadest lifestyle variable that makes you happy. Money's greatest intrinsic value is its ability to get you the control over your time. A small amount of wealth means the ability to take a few days off work when you're sick without breaking the bank. Aim for gaining that ability if you don't have, and it's a huge relief if you have gained. Another great point to note is both luck and risk are an integral part of finance. Do not assume that individual effort alone will allow you or others to be successful. Morgan uses the example of Bill Gates. Bill Gates is highly talented and works extremely hard. But he also obtained a competitive advantage because he attended one of the few high schools in the world to own a computer. When you are in the stock market, you are one person in a game with 7 billion players and infinite moving parts. So, work hard and take risks, but also consider the role that luck plays in finance. Focus less on specific individuals and case studies and more on broad patterns. The hardest and one of the most important financial skills is to get the goalpost to stop moving. Countless rich individuals have lost everything because they felt the millions they had were not enough. Learn from these failures by not risking what you have for what you need. It gets dangerous when the taste of having more, whether it's money, power, or prestige, increases faster than satisfaction. You always feel you're falling behind in spite of achieving so much. Saying enough is realizing that an appetite for more will push you to the point of regret. Our human brain struggles to understand the power of compounding, but compound interest can bring you financial freedom. For this, Morgan cites Warren Buffett as an example. He's a great investor, but his wealth is not just because of being a great investor. There are far better investors than him. His wealth, apart from being a great investor, is driven by the number of years for which he has been investing. That is 75 years. His skill is investing, but his secret is time. Of his $84.5 billion net worth, $84.2 billion was accumulated after investing for 40 plus years. So we must start investing pretty much early in life. The chapters on compounding talk about insistence on being reasonable with one's investments and expectations of returns rather than being completely rational. You're an emotional entity. Trust your gut more than what your rational mind asks you to do. If you're not comfortable in investing in the stock market as it makes you more anxious, don't do it. Invest in something safer which at least guarantees you a good night's sleep. Your rational mind might say that it's probably better to invest in the stock market for high ROI. But if it leads to anxiety, then what is the point of it? Although almost all the examples cited in this book are about guys, it really made me feel bad that there isn't a name of a woman in the list of best investors around the world. It did help me understand that the true value of money is not amassing assets, but rather in its purchasing power to leverage oneself in life in terms of freedom, independence, security, and ability to achieve dream which one doesn't have to let go. Also, the chapter on how debt erodes wealth gives a clear picture on the actual cost of debt, which for an individual investor is too huge and substantially toxic in the long term. Let me tell you, this book doesn't talk about the educational loans and has nothing much to offer on the same. All the debts mentioned are those incurred for purchasing an asset like a car, house, developing an asset, maintaining a lifestyle, etc. But nothing helps as a motivation to save ourselves from the spiral of consumerism than this simple sentence. If you buy too many things from your money, all you have is too many things and no money. There is a common belief in people that wealth will make them popular and respected, but the truth is, no one is impressed with your possessions. The inner truth behind you wanting a big house, a fancy car, and an expensive watch is that you want respect and admiration, says Housel. You might think that the expensive stuff may help you get liked, respected, and admired, but it rarely does. Instead, this just makes others use this as a benchmark for their own desire to be liked and admired. House, cars, vacations, etc. is not wealth. Some people use newfound wealth as an opportunity to show off. Housel suggests you to stop judging people's wealth by what you see, because wealth is what you do not see. Assets, investments that have not yet been converted into houses, cars, and vacations define your wealth. Wealth's value lies in offering you options, flexibility, and growth to purchase one day more stuff than you could right now. In clear words, rich is the current income. Wealth is income not spent. Wealth is hard because it requires self-control. Building wealth has little to do with your income or investment returns, but a lot to do with your savings rate, because there's a lot of uncertainty and risk in the first two. Your savings rate is the only financial decision you have the greatest control over. You can build wealth without a high income, but there is no way you can build wealth without a high saving rate. The thing that Morgan points out is people are poor forecasters of their future self. Only 27% of college graduates have a job related to their major subject. Plans will change because we change. Hence, your plan has to be adaptable to changes as you move along, creating wealth. This book helped me to understand that saving and investing money is a habit which is greatly guided by the relationship that one establishes with money itself. Ordinary folks with no financial education too can be wealthy if they have a handful of these behavioral skills, and this has nothing to do with formal measures of intelligence. The book speaks in a very clear manner. Chapters are crisp and brief and written in a language which is assertive with a lot of understanding of the psychology of an individual. I mean, an average investor like you and me who wants to secure the future. Well, most importantly, this is not the book that will teach you to grow rich within the snap of your fingers. However, it's a book with a collection of tips which will give you insights on financial decisions, our financial weaknesses, and how making the right decision will help you accumulate a good amount of savings in a good period of time. This book can be read quickly, but the whole point of reading it is to stop and think about how these stories apply to your own behavior. He makes us think about our relationship with money. Our behavior impacts our financial success more than intelligence or anything else. Wealth is not really about what others think about us. It's more about using our money to control how we spend our time and live our lives. Investing isn't a race to be won. It's more of a test of our character. He examines personal finance through the lens of human behavior. If you find yourself unmotivated, as I was while reading the beginning of this book, jump to the chapter 19 for a summary. This book wasn't what I expected. By that, I mean, as per the title, I was expecting something exploring the psychology of money, how money affects our behavior, or how our behavior affects money. What I got instead was an anthology of stories of people with money who then made more money, or people with money who lost money. The title may lead readers to believe it's a deep dive into the behavioral economics and decision analysis of all aspects of money. I wanted a deeper dive of the psychology so it can impact my life and consciously affect my spending decisions. But at least the book was short, so it didn't take much of my time. Still, I failed to understand the raves and high reviews. Maybe I'm not the intended audience. The book is well written, but only for readers who consider themselves novices with money. Anyone outside that category could possibly find themselves uninspired to get to the end. It's easy to read and understand, however, it fails to generate any interest or excitement about the subject. The author, I felt, consciously included several stories to keep the reader engaged, but I didn't buy the book for the stories, did I? If you can implement these approaches, you can be financially successful in the long run. You will also benefit from the wonders of compound interest. How you liked my review? If you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple, please do rate and review our show. This would help us a lot to reach more lovely people like you. Find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and YouTube to share your comments, book suggestions, and if you haven't clicked that follow button, do consider doing it. Thank you for staying tuned till the end. See you in the next episode of Books.com. Till then, sayonara.